Hello again, friends. Today I'm going to walk you through how to draw this beautiful peony bloom surrounded by some wild roses and greenery. If you're new to my channel, my name is Karla and I'm an artist and educator here to make art more approachable and enjoyable for all, and of course, share my love of florals with you. If you haven't already, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing to stay on top of my latest drawing tutorials. To get started on this floral wreath, you'll need a few basic supplies, starting with some paper. Here I'm using some Strathmore cold-pressed watercolor paper that I cut into 9x9 square, but you can use any mixed media paper that you like. You'll also want to have a pencil for drawing the draft design, a good quality eraser or kneadable eraser, and a fine line black pen. I'll be using the Sakura of America Micron pen in size 03. Remember, all of the supplies that I use will be linked in the video description, so please feel free to check that out too. To start, grab your pencil and draw a circle toward the middle of the page. I'm adding another small circle slightly off-centered toward the top and a third circle also off-centered, which will act as a guide while I'm figuring out where I want the petals to lay. I've also come in and started sketching out where I want the large leaves and some smaller sprigs of greenery to be. I thought maybe it would be nice to add some contrasting blooms, so I sketched in 3 more circles with smaller circles inside them to show where 3 small blooms will eventually be drawn. This is all that I'm going to do for the draft or outline of this piece. I don't like adding too many details in this phase of the drawing. This is because I like the freedom to evolve my drawings as I see fit. You can see here that I've started drawing out the center of the peony bloom, starting with the small cluster of these diamond-like shapes grouped together. I believe this part of the flower is called the carpel or the pistil. Once they're in place, I'm adding these long, almost worm-like squiggly shapes all around the center of the bloom, starting at the top side. These are the anthers, and they hold the flower's pollen. Have fun with the shapes here. Don't worry about anything being uniform. Before I finish drawing in the anthers on the bottom of the pistil, I'm going to pause and draw the first few petals using the third circle I drew in my draft as a guide to where the base fold of these petals will fall. The reason I'm doing this is because I want them to be curved up toward the stamen or center of the bloom and hiding some of the anthers. This will help to create a bit of depth within the piece and look like the petals have almost opened up to reveal the center, which is exactly what we want. Now that the petals are in place, I'm going to come in and continue adding the rest of these squiggly worm shapes until the entire center is filled in. From here, let's add some petals toward the top. I also want these ones to appear like they're curved in toward the center, so I'm going to start with a long, narrow shape along the top where I want the petal to fall. This is a fold in the petal that creates the look of a petal that's bending or curving. I've added lines along the sides, connecting them back to the center of the peony bloom, and I'm happy with how these look, so I'll start adding in some more petals to give the peony a bit more bulk. One thing about peonies that you'll notice is that they have so many layers of petals. So don't hold back in this phase of the outline. Have fun with the shapes you're adding on the page. I'm going to use the curve of the first petals I added to guide the placement of the next layer of petals. I'm going to just add some wiggly lines, some shapes like the letter U almost, just making sure that the bottom of each is connected back to the previous layer of petals. I'll keep working all the way around the peony until I'm happy with the shape. Once the peony petals are done, I'm going to work on the little roses, starting with the center stamen of each flower. Just draw a grouping of teeny tiny circles together for the center, which are also called the styles of the rose. I'll zoom in a bit here on the second two so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Once the circles are in place, I'm going to add a halo of small oval shapes around them, and eventually I'll connect these back to the stamen to make up the anthers of the roses. Now that I have the stamen of each rose ready, I'll start adding the petals. Each one will have 5 petals, and they're going to be almost a U shape again, with a bit of a dip or ridge on some of them. I also like to create a few folds in the petals by just adding an extra line along the outer edges of some spots. The next thing we're going to work on here is the large leaves in this piece. There are 6 large ones that I've drawn here, and I'm just going to come in and add 2 parallel lines that converge at the tip for the center vein of each leaf. Once I have the veins in place, I'm going to add a curved, jagged line on either side of the vein for the outer edges of the leaves. For the smaller leaves, we're going to use the same way of drawing the vein and outer edges with a bumpy or jagged line on either side of the vein. While we're having a little break here, I thought I'd ask a big favor of you amazing people that are choosing to watch my drawing tutorials. Please consider subscribing, and if you're already subscribed, please consider leaving me a comment below and let me know how you like this type of tutorial. This is a new channel, so any engagement will really help me reach more people and build my audience here on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. Now that the outline is done, let's start adding in some details. Basically, what you want to do is find all of the places within the petals that might have a shadow cast on them and fill them in with these really light, quick lines to indicate where the petal might be a bit darker or have a shadow. I'll concentrate the bulk of the lines to the bottom of each petal as well as underneath where there are folds in the petals. Take a look while I add the lines and notice where they're falling. The base of the petal or under any spot, there may be a shadow cast. I also have added in a few single lines here and there just to help add some depth or curve to the petals. Again, have fun with this part of the drawing. You don't need to worry about being exact or having perfect lines because once they're all in place, I promise you it will look great. For the smaller flowers, add a quick line connecting the anthers back to the stamen of the flower, and then you'll want to come in and add some detail lines to create those shadows within each petal. We're doing the same thing here with the shading, concentrating the line work toward the center of the bloom or base of each petal. Don't forget to add a line or two under any folds that you've drawn to make them really pop off the page. Now that the flowers are all complete, I'm going to come in and start working with my favorite type of leaf to draw, which is called an S-curve leaf. You'll notice that I draw a really subtle S-curve shape from the center vein of the leaf extending out toward the outer edge of the leaf. Continue adding these curved lines all the way down either side of the leaf until the full length is filled in. You'll also notice that some of the lines I've added are broken or have some white space left open. This helps to achieve the look that there might be some light touching those spots of the leaf. For the smaller leaves, which I like to call the parallel lines leaves, just draw some quick parallel lines down the length of each side of the center vein, extending outwards toward the edge. You could add a curved line here if you'd prefer, but because they're so small, I just like to keep the details simple and easy. I'll keep adding these lines down both sides of the veins until all of the leaves are filled in. And once we have all the line work here done, we're almost done. You can still see some pencil lines around this piece, so I'm going to come in with my eraser and gently wipe away any excess lines that I don't want on the page. Don't rub too hard or use too many back and forth strokes, as you might start to make your line work fade a bit, and we definitely don't want that. And there you have it, a start to finish peony bloom, drawn with just a few simple shapes for the outline and some easy detail lines to finish it off. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial or even drawing along with it. If so, please consider leaving a comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, Bye-bye.